Towards the end of the end. So the last season, towards the last show, where I'm gonna remember names now. The police officer guy, his police officer wife is pregnant, and he'd been telling her all this time that how beautiful she is and how he wants to treat her special because she's pregnant, and she kind of waves him off like, I'm just me with a baby and lots of pain, that kind of thing, just not making a big deal out of it. So then they take some pregnancy photos where, her big belly is exposed like they do when they're doing pregnancy photos. And she's looking at these because he wants her to choose the best ones to print, I guess. So she's looking at these and she's flipping through his phone looking at the pictures, and she goes, I am magnificent. I am the bearer, the mother of a life, the mother of a child. Look at me. I am amazing. I am incredible. How have you not been treating me like a princess? How have you not been treating me like I'm majestic? Because I am. And he's like dumbfounded because I think he's been trying to treat her that way this whole time. He's been trying to tell her that she's amazing, but she didn't believe him. It didn't sink in. She didn't think so. So that made me think this morning, and I don't know why it came up to me, but it did, that it's similar to people tell us that we're God's children, or maybe not people, but yeah, sometimes people, pastors and things in the Bible, tells us that we're God's children, we're amazing, we're eternal, we are God's soldiers, we are forgiven, we are full of God's love, and we have access to God's love, we have access to God's power, and we listen to that just like if someone were to tell us that we're majestic, just like that lady. We listen to it and we might even agree, she might even agree that, okay, yeah, thank you, I am special, yes, because I have a baby inside of me that is special. But it's that dawning moment of when she saw the pictures and she saw herself in a different way, truly, that she was like slapped across the face with a recognition that she was something that she didn't think that she was fully, even if she agreed and could say, yes, I'm sure I'm majestic. It was like when she looked at that picture, it was like she had found out that she was actually adopted by a regular family, but was actually, the queen of the world, the princess of the best kingdom of all, or that she actually owns $10 million and just never knew about it. It was this bank that had been accruing all this time. Maybe she invested in it when she was 5 years old and totally forgot about it, and then gets a letter in the mail and realizes that she can go and buy a castle with a moat now. Maybe not for $10 million, let's say for $100 million. $100 million. So when you're realizing that you are someone or something that you didn't think you were, it's that level of level that that woman was, recognize that we have actually a different identity than we've ever thought that we did. Because nobody may be a child of the best preachers out there, the most enthusiastic, God-loving, God people out there. Maybe they would raise a child from birth to realize that they are royalty and yet still, of course, not be an arrogant pig. But then this whole world, even if that child was raised to realize that they themselves are the child of a king who can do anything and who created the stars, and that their parents also are spirit children of the king who created the stars, and how special that is. As soon as they step out into the real world, surrounded by humans who believe that they are mostly bags of skin and bones walking around until they die and rot. And that belief permeates who those people are and what they do. And since we're part of their culture, it's easy to be affected by how they see themselves, and how the world makes a big deal over things that, if they realized that their actual father is sitting on a throne of clouds and all of the best of creation is praising their father, and their father thinks that they are important enough to die for, to suffer for. Well, whether someone put the cap on the toothpaste is not as important anymore. And even the things that we fear the most, I think, are the biggest fears, like losing your house and losing employment and going bankrupt and even being sick. And I think probably the worst of them all is some form of actual physical suffering or emotional grief. Even those things are put into perspective, because if you also were to realize the expanse of eternity and that this life is a blip, to us we might be suffering through every single day, but in the big scheme of things, it's just a blip. It's an important blip. Everything we do is important, but the perspective is different. That it's not forever, even if it feels like it is. So what the point I was getting at is that by the time that we really have a consciousness of who we are, that there is a me and that there's a you, so that's probably 2 years old, and then going forward from that, where we are entrenched in this human world, I think that probably every one of us assumes that we are something that we're actually not, and that every one of us then requires to be slapped over the face with the realization of the identity that we actually are. And because there might be a few people out there who amazingly somehow were raised within that identity, I'll just say 99.9999999% of us need that moment where we realize it. And maybe it's not one moment, maybe it's a progressive, continual conditioning that we have to do on ourselves. Just like if somebody is depressed, maybe they need to condition themselves to be optimistic, to look at the happy side. Just like journaling 3 good things every day is one thing that a lot of people do to condition themselves to be a happier person, a more thankful person. So maybe we need to condition ourselves to realize the identity that we actually have versus the one that the world teaches us that we have or are. Okay, I'm at work. Goodbye.